But today we're going to be talking about the top 5 best savings accounts.
I think this is good to know.
All right, Bec, are you ready for the top 5 best savings accounts?
I'm so ready.
Joke's on you. I'm going to do a caveat here because obviously they're not, quote, the best. They are just the accounts that currently have the highest variable interest rate at the moment. I'm going to go through the maximum variable interest rate, who the institution is, what their standard variable rate is, whether there's an intro period or not, or if there's any conditions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go, obviously, from lowest to highest. So you have to listen to the rest of my podcast.
That's very clever.
Genius, right? So first things first, we've got the ME, Home Me Savings Account. And this has come up because it is like, it's not just the top 5. I actually have 6 to present because in typical Victoria Devine fashion, I said, I want to present 5 of the top 5 accounts, but then I also found one, and it's the number one, but it has a few extra terms and conditions on it.
Sure.
So I was like, it'll be like a little something on top, right? So we'll do the 5 plus 1.
Good idea.
I'm just ruining the list for you.
Yeah, I think I'm following though, yeah.
But
okay.
top 6,
Top
maybe.
6, sure.
Anyway, so we've got the ME bank account, and its maximum variable interest rate right now is 5.55%.
Sounds good.
Kind of sexy. Their standard variable rate is 0.55%. They do need you to deposit a minimum of $2,000 each and every single month.
Whoa.
Which for some people is feasible. That's
Hmm.
why it's on the list, my friend. And does it have the government guarantee, you ask? Yes, it does.
I just have a really quick one.
Of course.
So standard variable rate means, is that like the average?
It's the default.
It's the default. Okay. Sorry.
It's the default. So you know how we were talking before about how they have shiny intro offers and they go, oh, here's this, maximum variable rate. Like this is the most you'll get from us.
Sure.
They have complete control of being like, we don't do that anymore
Hmm.
because obviously you can't predict what the market's going to do and they need the flexibility to turn that off.
Mm-hmm.
So it will default back down to 0.55%
Gotcha.
if everything hit the fan.
Ah, I see. Thank you. Sorry.
Good. Number 2, we've got Macquarie. So Macquarie savings account comes in at 5.50% Bec, but their standard variable rate is 4.75%.
Whoa.
So still a little bit higher. So that kind of looks a bit sexy
That's great.
for an intro period of 4 months.
Ah.
Gotcha.
I see.
Is there any monthly maximum rate conditions? No, there's not. So you could just use this as you go. I would just be wary of what happens when that 4-month intro period wears off.
Mm.
Then I feel like it's like one of Australia's favourite accounts just because of the barefoot investor. Like he created this cult following with ING.
Love
So
ING.
that is the ING Savings Maximiser.
Okay.
Right now, maximum variable interest rate of 5.5%. Drops back down to a standard variable interest rate of 0.55%. It's ongoing. You do need to deposit monthly at least $1,000 and make 5 transactions.
Oh, so like they're encouraging you to spend.
They're encouraging you to use that as an account that transacts. So it's a savings maximizer. Usually you can't just have a savings maximizer account with ING. You also have to have their daily account, in which case you would need to make those 5 monthly transactions.
Gotcha. Okay. When you say transactions, like would it count if I just transferred money from one savings account to a transaction account, or do I have to?
Every bank is going to be different.
Sure.
So
Okay.
what that looks like to ING might look very different to NAB or ANZ, which is fine. Again, you need to read your terms and conditions, but usually it's a deposit into or out of that account. It could be, you paying for your MyKey. It could be you transferring some money in from, a dinner that your friend owed you cash from. Just 5 standard, usually, transactions.
Sure. Okay.
So 4, we have the first option bank savings account. So that comes in at 4.75% with a standard variable rate of 2%.
Pretty good.
It's ongoing too.
Oh, very good.
So they're not going to go, oh, there's an intro period. No intro period. It's ongoing. But you do get this minimum deposit amount per month. Gotcha, it's only $100.
That seems
That's a bit more
realistic.
reasonable.
I can deal with that.
Bit more relatable,
Yeah.
But you can't make any withdrawals.
Oh. Okay.
They just really want you to save.
That's actually really cute.
I kind of like it.
I kind of like that.
I kind of like the trap. And that's why when we're talking about this stuff, it's like not one size fits all. Like
Sure.
you go, V, what should we be looking for? And I go, well, what's your criteria? There's so much stuff that you could be looking for. At the end of the day, you could be like, talking about the type of the account. You could be talking about the type of account you want to have, or your interest rate, or your minimum or maximum deposit. You could be talking about like fees or even goal setting, your capability and your time frame. Like if you are the type of person that's like Bec and me, we're a bit impulsive, aren't we, babe?
Yeah, I think so.
I would say, like, we're good at it together. It's why we need a producer in the room with us at all times.
At all times.
To stop us from going rogue. But, like, no withdrawals. That would work for me.
Yeah, I think we need that.
A little while ago on the show, you told us about how you have a money tin because you can't get the money out because it's in a tin. And I just feel like that might work for you too.
Yeah, well, that tin actually, unfortunately, wasn't strong enough for these big, strong hands.
Did you get the can opener out?
I did. I got a lot of things out.
Oh, that's a bit naughty.
Anything I could, I got out. But I think this...
Next time you do that, can you please film it? Make great content.
I can do. This is why this would be perfect for me.
Yeah,
and
right.
you.
Yeah. Yeah, just based on that criteria completely.
Yes.
So, Bec, I included the first option bank savings account in my number 4 slot because they had that 4.75%, but then they also had that standard variable rate of 2%, which felt a little bit safer than the one I'm going to put in number 5, even though their interest rate or their maximum variable interest rate was higher. I just felt like that made more sense to me, and it's my list, so I do what I want.
You do what you want.
So coming in at number 5 is the Bank of Queensland Future Saver account. This Future Saver account, it does have a little bit of criteria on it though. So it's for 14 to 35-year-olds. Quite specific, which is why it kind of ranked a little bit lower than the other one, even though they have a higher interest rate. Their interest rate is sitting at 5.4%,
That's very
which
good.
is very nice, but their standard variable rate was 0.05%. So that's obviously lower than the one before. Before we were talking about a 2%
Yes.
standard rate. So do you see why I might have like dropped it down a little bit?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I'm a bit rude. I didn't just go, oh, the highest interest rate is the best, which is exactly what we want you to do as well, because the highest interest rate does not equal the best. Because I obviously could rant about this for 6 million years, and I honestly have. Like, I've done it for 5 years and we haven't slowed down, Bec. But when it comes to the investment world, often people will say, V, what's the best type of investment? And I can't answer that either, not because I don't want to, but if you say, V, more specifically, what's the highest yielding type of investment in Australia? So what returns the most cashola? Well, it's shares.
Right.
Whereas a lot of people will want to hear me say property or like their asset that they want to invest in. Pragmatically speaking, shares have outperformed the other 3 main asset types in Australia. So it's shares, then it's property, then it's fixed interest, and then it's cash here in Australia.
Okay.
For the Bank of Queensland, to carry on about them, their intro period, there is none. Sexy.
Good.
Sexy. But they do require a minimum monthly deposit of $1,000 and 5 eligible transactions.
Eligible.
Exactly.
Keyword.
So eligible means you need to read the terms and conditions. And then I wanted to like do the little cherry on top.
Yes, please.
Which is, again, a high interest rate. Obviously, when I was comparing it, I put the first option bank higher than the Bank of Queensland. But then this is a Westpac account, and it gets like to be the cherry on top because it's a lower interest rate than the Bank of Queensland, but a higher standard variable rate. So the Westpac Life account, which unfortunately is only for our listeners from the age of 18 to 29, has a maximum variable rate of 5.2%, but the standard variable interest rate is 2%.
Very good.
So it's a bit higher.
Yeah.
No intro period, which is really nice. No minimum deposit amount, but you do have to have 5 debit card purchases each and every single month to get to that maximum variable rate.
Okay. So they want you to spend a little bit. They want you to treat yourself.
They do. They want you to like be active with their product.
Yeah.
Which is not rude. They're literally paying you.
Absolutely.
Like nobody owes you anything.
That could work for me. I like this. I like this
Well,
relationship.
you like using your debit card.
I do.
So it's all good. I totally